Oh, I forgot my water. Yeah. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 70213 Lakers podcast, Las Vegas, covering LA. I'm your host, Kyle Randolph, here with my bro, Isaiah Torres. So, obviously, Lakers podcast, we're going to talk Lakers right away. The signings, this offseason. How in the world does a championship team manage to get Montrezl Harrell, Marc Gasol, Wesley Matthews, Dennis Schroeder? Like, how does a championship team manage to do that in an offseason right after winning one? It makes no sense. All they lost to was Danny Green, Dwight Howard, and JaVale.
I mean, I think the answer is right in front of us. It's not Mitch. Sorry, it's Rob Pelinka. You know, he's for those who don't know, but I'm sure the story is pretty well documented. He was a longtime agent, so he knows the game from both sides now, and he's good at what he does. He's a good GM, and he didn't get the. A lot of Laker fans want him to get GM of the year this past season. I don't know if he was really. I don't know if he deserved that title or not, but he was up there as one of the best ones. I think a lot of people were upset that the Clippers got it. But then it's just Laker fans being Laker fans. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how this season goes. But I like the moves. I think he's got to be up in the running for GM of the year already with the season even starting yet. But yeah, I mean, credit to him. That's the answer. If your question is how do they get all those guys, I mean, simply put, that's your answer, Rob Pelinka.
Makes sense to me. He's damn good, tell you that. Everybody watching, by the way, you guys can comment on whatever platform you're on. We see the comment, so you could join us in the debate, basically. Just comment below. So right now, we're going to talk about the Lakers lineup heading into next season. A lot of people have a few different things. Like, some people want Dennis Schroeder starting, but I differ from that. So I'm going to get into this position by position. You guys can comment your Laker lineup too at this point. So I say the starting point guard has to be LeBron. It worked so well last time. I know he's played with another point guard, like true point guard, in the past and won rings. But I say since it works so well, you have to stick to that. You don't want to mess anything up. You don't want to mess anything up from last season because it was so damn successful last season.
True.
You got anything to say about that, or are you with me?
I mean, that's tough. All right, so you know what? I know we kind of discussed. I would have to say maybe just give me the 5. I don't know if we could do because I want to see how you fit the rest of the.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna be talking for a bit. So shooting guard, we're gonna get KCP in there. He shot a career high 38% from 3.
So you have Brown at 1, KCP at 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
KCP been there in the playoffs. Even though Avery Bradley played most games there, KCP played a lot of minutes, and then in the playoffs, he started all the games at shooting guard. It worked fine. And one of the Lakers' best decisions, getting Wesley Matthews, he's going to be at the 3, the small forward. And if you guys look at their stats, it's so crazy. They both shoot within the decimals away from 36%, him and Danny Green. And minutes, they were 0.4 minutes away from each other per game. And they're both catch and shoot players, can't really create shots for themselves or dribble moves that much. Both solid defenders. Wesley Matthews is the perfect replacement for Danny Green. He's a veteran in the league too. Only thing is he has no finals experience really. But with AD getting some of that, I don't think they need it. They just need him to catch and shoot threes, which is what he was nearly just as good as Danny Green with that doing. So at the 4,
I like that.
do I need to talk about that? AD's at the 4.
Okay,
And,
simply put, yep. Who we got
and
at 5?
starting center, we got Marc Gasol. He can play way more minutes than both Dwight Howard and JaVale.
Did he start at in Toronto?
He did.
He did start? Okay. I wasn't sure if it was did him and Ibaka both start or one came off the bench and one started?
They split minutes pretty evenly.
Okay.
Gasol was the starter from. So my thing with this starting lineup it's sorry, go.
I was at first I'm like with Rondo and Bradley both gone, I was saying that I don't know about Schroeder coming off the bench. But honestly, I like what you put together there because it makes sense. It honestly makes sense. You know, like you said, it worked. Bron running the show there, and then at 2, KCP, we signed him to a big contract for a reason to bring him back and play good minutes.
He was put there in the playoffs and had some of the best games of his career there.
Yep, he contributed a lot. And then Wesley Matthews, who I really liked, man, that was such a good pickup. And I got to give you credit because you predicted that one. That was your pick there. Like not too long before it happened even. So
yeah.
And Wesley Matthews, I got to say, he's someone who I really enjoy because my first time watching him play was when he was actually in Portland. At this time he was young, next to a young Damian Lillard. And it kind of like shocked. Damian Lillard was he was the leader of that team, but Wesley Matthews was like his second-hand man. That was even before CJ, and before even CJ became, what CJ is now. Really good scorer, like you said, he could shoot, but also when they need him to do it, he'll drive to the hoop and get valuable points. So I remember that season. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I think it was a season where Portland was the lower seed and they upset Houston off that buzzer beater by Damian Lillard. That season they went on to the next round, and unfortunately Wesley Matthews tore his ACL and the season was cut short. And after that he signed on to a different team for a better contract, and the rest is history. He moved on to several other teams along the way. But for him to be a Laker, I'm genuinely really happy about it. And I like, like you said, AD don't need to explain that one at the 4. And I'll put Gasol over Montrez for starting center because obviously he's bigger.
You need the defense.
He's a champion. You need the defense. I mean, he's a defensive player of the year a few years ago. So yeah, I definitely agree with that starting lineup. It's a good one too, and it's scary. And you have Schroeder and Montrez still in the arsenal for coming off the bench. So, and not to mention Caruso. Like, I like it. I agree with you, Kyle. That's a good starting lineup.
Yeah, I'm glad because I was gonna say, because a lot of people disagree. They say to start other people, but I say no because this lineup, Frank Vogel is capable of adjustments, but don't fix what's not broken. KCP fit in the 2 fine in the playoffs that they dominated teams in. And Wesley Matthews is a perfect replacement for Danny Green. And Marc Gasol is overall better than both and JaVale and is capable of playing both their minutes. So I say this lineup's perfect. People criticize it on me, but I say don't fix what's not broke. And it makes sense. Yeah. So moving on to the bench, because that's part of it. Dennis Schroeder is a perfect replacement for Rondo. They need another ball handler with IQ. They got it. And even though Dennis Schroeder, I'd say, has slightly less basketball IQ than Rondo, he's a way better scorer. He can create his own shot. He can shoot the 3 ball, so that more than makes up for it. Then you basically keep the same bench, except, you have Montrez filling in more minutes. Obviously, he's the center of the bench. I know he can play forward too, but since they lost both JaVale and Dwight, you have to put him there off the bench. And he can play less minutes since, like I said earlier, Marc Gasol can fill in more minutes. So if you have defensive problems, then he doesn't have to play much. But if it's on the flip side and you need scoring immediately, you could play Montrez even more. So like this lineup's very adjustable, with which Frank Vogel is great at. Then the rest will be the typical Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso, Markieff Morris. If you want an exact rundown of the bench, Dennis Schroeder, point guard. His minutes, he's mainly going to be like the Rondo. But again, I say don't fix what's not broke. This sounds too replicated, but they're better talented. So a lot of people are going to say to me, if you do the same thing, they can figure it out. But it's the same thing with better players and better scores. So Dennis Schroeder will be the one off the bench, but adjust his minutes so he gets to play with LeBron too, like Rondo in the playoffs exactly.
Yeah, that'll definitely happen.
Like, you know what I'm saying? He's there, so the team is fine when LeBron's off the floor, but at the same time, he's such a good scorer, he could play with him too. And then at the 2, you got Caruso. 3, you got Kuzma. 4, you got Markieff. And then 5, you got Montrez. Anything you disagree with? Am I missing somebody on the bench?
No, I was just going to ask you, do you think, unless you mentioned him, I just didn't catch it, but do you think Talen Horton-Tucker gets an increase in minutes this season?
I was just about to say, I just think this team's too talented. Nothing against him.
Yeah.
I thought
but, you know, I'll tell you what, injuries do happen. Like we saw Kuzma battle injuries quite a bit this past season. I think probably what will happen usually is someone will get hurt, and then I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of fills in, takes that
for
spot
sure.
maybe on the rotation.
And you know, they're going to be a good team. They might need some people to rest. You know, somebody, which I would hate it, and I hope it's not major, but someone's bound to get hurt. You know?
Yeah.
So, and we got a comment, by the way. Hassan signed on a minimum contract to the Kings. Pelinka slept on that? ? My opinion on this. I haven't been a huge Hassan guy. I never really was. I say the Lakers played this perfectly. Hassan is good, and they did give a bag to Montrez. But I say what the Lakers have done is perfect, because they didn't sign him for a bunch of 1 years. They signed him for 2. So I wouldn't ever bet on this in sports, but they could three-peat. They have a lot of 2-year contracts now. Nobody's really gone next year except for Markieff that I know of. Nobody major. So I like exactly what they did. Hassan is great, but
well,
I say Marc Gasol is better. Marc Gasol is better, and then Montrez off the bench is great too. It's not a bad idea. What would you guys say?
No, I definitely. It's a good comment there by Giovanni Bravo.
It is
14, but yeah, you know what? Hassan Whiteside, obviously, the Noah story kind of came out of nowhere. Balled out for the Heat. I'm not 100% sure here, but it seemed like he kind of had some issues personnel-wise with the Heat, and that's why they ultimately traded him. And to I think Portland, right? And I mean, yeah, Bam Adebayo there, so you know, obviously the Heat are definitely happy with how that went down. Whiteside, I mean, he's someone who could be a really good player. You know, there's no denying that. But the problem that I've seen with him is he's kind of inconsistent. He'll do the work for you, but somehow it just gets lost. You know, no one really talks about it, and I think it's part of the inconsistency. I don't, you know, I gotta agree. Marc Gasol is definitely the better addition, in my opinion. Like we said already, he's a champion. Obviously, we know the history, right? You know, he's Paul's little brother. So now we got both Gasols on the Lakers. Like, you know, not obviously currently, but you know, in the history of Lakers franchise. And, you know, champion, defensive player of the year, part of that grit and grind Grizzlies team that's so loved. Like, that pickup is definitely a lot better than Whiteside, in my opinion. And so is Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell is the reigning sixth man of the year. You know, he was someone who was on the Clippers, but he did work for the Clippers, and he was a dog. Honestly, he was one of my favorite players in the league to watch last season. And now that he's wearing purple and gold, I'm super happy about it. So
I bet you are.
You know, I got to say this, not picking up Whiteside and picking up the other two, I gotta agree with Rob on this one. You know, I like what Rob's doing so far. And honestly, I don't know why, but like the Kings, they can't get nothing going on right now. Like whoever, it doesn't matter who they pick up. I'm pretty sure in the middle of the year, Whiteside either is not going to be there or something, or he's going to be hurt, or you're gonna watch a game in the middle of the season and be like, oh shoot, I forgot Whiteside was on the Kings now. You know what I mean? Like I think that's what's going to happen there. But thanks for the comment there, though, Giovanni. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was awesome. Sparked up a great conversation. So moving on, anything else you gotta say about the lineups before I move on here?
Well,
any
you know
major
what?
disagreements?
Yeah, actually I do. I don't know about lineups, but as far as acquisitions and I mean departures, I am sad to see Rondo go. So thank you, Rondo, for what you did, bringing a championship to the Lakers. Like I said, keeping Bron and AD in check. Kind of a full circle moment. You know, I mean, he was on the Celtics a decade ago. Also, I'm sad to see Avery Bradley go. He was someone who I wish really was able to contribute in the bubble, but he did do, some things for us during the regular season. I kind of forget that he was on the team because he wasn't there for the bubble version of it, but no, I'm happy for them. You know, they got some contracts, and I'm excited about the Atlanta team. Honestly, Rondo's on the Hawks. Trae Young's
they're going to be solid. No one talks about them.
I think they got that dude Bogdanovich from Sacramento officially today because the Kings didn't match their offer sheet. They got Danilo Gallinari. I didn't say that right. Gallinari. They got my guy Big O and Onyeka Okongwu. They drafted him 6 overall.
I was gonna say I like that. I got happy for you. He got picked early.
Did yeah. So look out for them. And then a more crazier move. Bradley goes to the Heat. So crazy there, right? The Heat also re-signed Dragic. So they're gonna have him back. It looks like the only guy they really lost that I could think of is Jay Crowder, which is a big blow for them. But man, I mean,
it is.
Still got Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. You add Bradley. You keep Dragic.
Did Derrick Jones Jr. resign? By the way,
no, he's not. That's a good question.
He's on the Blazers. Huh.
He went to the Blazers. So I don't know how he didn't really contribute too much during the postseason, but yeah, it's another
good
blow
defender.
to their. Yeah, he is another blow to their core. You know what I mean? But yeah, interesting to see there. Let's see what else. We traded JaVale McGee. Thank you, JaVale, for a few good seasons in purple and gold. JaVale is someone who I hated when he came to the Lakers because he was just a guy who was he just looked dumb on the court. He looked like he was lost all the time, always on second full. And then he went to the Warriors. He won some championships there, and he I felt like he was somebody who was just like a dummy on the floor for the Warriors. Like he cleaned up some misses for them, and but I was proven wrong. He came to the Lakers, and it turns out, and I got to thank the Warriors for this. What happens is, they like to say iron sharpens iron. He was on a team where he was around some really good players, and they made him better. And then he brought that to the Lakers, and his work ethic was incredible. I can't deny it. His work ethic was incredible, and at the end of the day, they got the job done. He got a championship too. My guy Dwight Howard, another guy, man. I hated him when he came. When he left, earlier this decade and I guess last decade now, and the Lakers brought him back, non-guaranteed deal. He said, "I'm not going to bring no problems. I'm going to just do the work and do my best to bring a championship." And he did the same thing. So it kind of sucks because I wonder what happened there. But Dwight Howard, he tweeted that he was going to come back to the Lakers, and then quickly deleted it and then signed with someone else. So I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened there. Yeah, I'm not sure. But, yeah, I'm sad to see those guys go. Now, the guys the things I really disagree with is in the JaVale McGee trade with Cleveland, they got Jordan Bell and Alfonso McKinney. Jordan Bell, I actually like.
I forgot to put him in my lineup. Yeah.
I like him. Well, there's a reason why you didn't put him in the lineup. Because the Lakers aren't going to sign him. If they didn't waive him already, they're going to waive him. They're not going to have Jordan Bell.
I figured, right?
I was like, I get it. You have some big bodies in there already, some forwards, but I like Jordan Bell. He was a guy who's from the SoCal area. He balled out of Oregon, and And he has a championship with the Warriors too. You know, he went crazy off the Henny in their parade. I'll never
Yeah, they
forget
already
that.
waived him.
Alfonso McKinney though, like I don't want that guy. That's the guy the Lakers. That's the Lakers. Who the Lakers did keep in that trade. I don't want him. Like who? What good is he gonna do? You know what I mean? Like he was one of those
Yeah.
guys who definitely didn't do anything but got a championship with the Lakers there.
Yeah.
I mean with the Warriors. I mean, so I'm whatever about that. I shouldn't say that, but I'm thinking maybe along the line he'll probably be someone who the Lakers waive to pick up someone else mid-season or trade or something like that. You know what I mean?
Just filling up a slot right now.
Yeah. They got rid of Quinn Cook. I didn't really care about that because Quinn Cook never did anything for me, anyways.
It's kind of disappointing too, because like I know he was overhyped when he was doing great on the Warriors, but when you guys got him, I expected him to show he can be a great player off the bench, but he kind of just didn't do anything towards
He
the
didn't do
end.
anything. Nope. He didn't do anything at all. Not even towards
He
the
didn't
end
even
at
get
all.
minutes. He
No,
didn't
he
get
didn't do
minutes.
nothing. No,
Yeah,
so
that was
I don't care
disappointing.
about that. Is Jared
Expected
Dudley
a
still
lot
on the
out of him.
roster or no?
Nah, he's gone from
Okay,
what
well
I
that's
saw.
good. I don't need him either. Like,
Yeah, you don't.
but no, I mean the only disagreement I have is I understand why you don't have Bell there, but you know get rid of Bell, but get rid of McKinney too. We don't need him. That's probably the only issue there. I don't really see why we have him around.
As
But
of
no,
now,
I mean,
Jared Dudley still's on the team actually.
oh yes, okay, well,
I
whatever.
don't need him, but if he stays, he stays. Veteran presence. If he goes, bye bye.
I'll trade McKinney and Dudley for someone better.
Who the hell would accept that trade? I'm just kidding.
True that.
Okay.
We'll get somebody who's like undervalued, but
Maybe
we
someone
know
needs a
deep down
clear
good.
cap or something. Their contracts
Yeah.
seem pretty cheap from what I know.
You know what?
so-
We'll get Trevor Ariza because Trevor Ariza's been traded like 5 times in the past week. So we'll take
Jared
Trevor Ariza.
Dudley and Alfonso McKinney. That ain't happening.
Because apparently nobody wants him, right? So we'll take him. I think right now he's
I get what you're saying.
Technically he's on the Thunder right now, I think. Last time I checked. But yeah, that's what I would do. But other than that, that's really all I have to say about the roster moves recently. Like I said, sad to see some guys go. I think I'm more sad because we didn't get to see them celebrate a parade. You know what I mean? Imagine Dwight Howard going crazy at a parade. You know what I mean? It sucks.
Right.
It's sad, but hey, it is what it is. It's the times.
Yeah, it is. So, speaking of NBA free agency, one thing which I don't think it pushes the Rockets anywhere good, they did get DeMarcus Cousins and Christian Wood, who I like Christian Wood. That guy, maybe not with Harden and Westbrook's ball dominance, but he's going to have a productive year. I've always liked him.
Christian Wood's somebody who like didn't do anything until like very late in the season last year. It was crazy because he was still in the summer league a few times, even after he's been in the league for a few years. But I don't. You know, the weird thing is he was sitting on teams and he wasn't really. I don't even think he was really playing that much. So it's kind of weird when he finally did get playing time. When he finally did get playing time this season, yes, he came out of nowhere and he was doing numbers. So
I don't even think it was just a little hot streak because it lasted a long time. He was productive, man.
Yeah, he was productive. I was actually surprised because I thought we thought we were never going to see him play, but good for him getting a contract.
And DeMarcus Cousins as well. If you told me this 3-4 years ago, I'd be like, oh my God, that's a good team. Now I'm just like, with all the injuries he's had consecutively, that dude's career's finished, in my opinion. He's going to be average, below average kind of center, you know? It's sad to see.
I'm kind of whatever on that one. We're gonna have to see how he comes back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if he's like prime DeMarcus, and that team's scary. I mean, they're not going to win the finals, but
he's injury prone. So I mean, we'll see what happens to him. But yeah, I mean, because let's look at it. He had an Achilles, and then something to do with his quad, and then he tore his ACL. Correct? So
yeah.
That's I just don't see him really being a huge deal. But if he proves us wrong in Houston, then so be it, I guess.
Yeah, a crazy NBA and the free agency so far. Off season's been amazing. Some other part of the off season, the NBA draft did happen.
Yeah, let's talk about it, man.
The top 3 picks we predicted Like exactly, Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, and LaMelo Ball to the Hornets.
Yep.
So the Hornets gonna do a rebrand, and what they have been doing for forever now. But that system is capable of messing up players. Like it's not a good system, not messing up players, but doing nothing with them and still being bad. They had Kemba for years and they weren't a good team. But if you're gonna successfully rebuild, a playmaking point guard is the way to go. So we'll see how this goes. An upset pick, though. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, go ahead. Yeah, I was kind of gonna say like, who was your favorite picks or sleepers or someone you didn't disagree with?
Okay, I'm gonna say all those. One
Okay.
that was unexpected for me was Patrick Williams to the Bulls. I liked it because that team needs defense, and even though he is a forward, so he's gonna most likely back up Markkanen. It's a good pick. They need defense. He's a good defender. They say he lacks a defensive drive at occasions, but he's athletic and has a whole bunch of potential. He didn't really go all out. His stats aren't crazy, but he has a lot of potential. He could score. He's lacking on defensive effort, I think I've seen some scouts say, but he's still great at defense. He can block shots really well. And we got another comment. LaMelo to the Hornets is good. Doesn't put the spotlight on him. He could just work. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I do too.
Even
I agree. Small market team. Small market team. He's on the East Coast. He's gone farther than Lonzo is going. He's gonna play under Jordan, which is pretty exciting. I like it too, man. He's an exciting point guard. We've seen the flashes. I'm interested to see how he does with Devontae Graham, Malik Monk, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington. I think the only thing they're missing is, well, they have Zeller. Zeller's a big man right now. Zeller is an underrated guy, but he's not like the big man. You know what I mean? I'm interested to see what they do if they could get a big man down there in Charlotte. Then they might have something brewing there, because that's what Kemba had. He had, I don't know if it was, I don't remember. It was Al Jefferson. Those few seasons when Kemba led the Hornets to the playoffs, they had a big man with him there. It wasn't just him by himself. But no, I'm all for it too, man. Melo's my guy, so I'm definitely gonna be watching some Hornet games this season.
I'll be interested. So the pick I didn't agree with, I'm gonna try to make this quick. Knicks, I don't think they need an Obi Toppin kind of player. I mean, Denny slipped as well. That's a story of the draft, but I would have chose them if I was the Knicks. Or
you said who slipped?
Denny. He slipped to the Wizards.
Israeli guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tyrese slipped too, from what I remember.
Haliburton, yeah, he did slip a little bit too.
The Knicks could use a player like him, so I disagree with that one. But my sleeper pick is somebody I talked about before. You go to any big boards and stuff. He doesn't have a lot of cons, but a lot of pros. Devin Vassell, sleeper pick all the way down at 11.
11 to the Spurs, right?
The Spurs develop players really well.
Yeah.
He is a guy that seems fundamentally great. His stats aren't crazy, even though they're good. So Devin Vassell, who seems like a fundamentally great player on a team that, is known for their fundamentals and developing players, that's going to be fun to watch. So anything you got to say? What are your big three?
My favorite pick was definitely Onyeka to the Hawks, right? Like we talked about this last week. And initially, we weren't sure where he was going to be in all the mock drafts. Then he found his way to the top 10. He was kind of 8, 9, 7, or like 8, 9-ish. And then as late as last week, he moved up to 6, and that's where they took him. And I was definitely happy about that. It's a little interesting to see what they're going to do, because they also have Clint Capella and John Collins there. But, I mean, I don't know. Well, they also, they end up getting Gallinari, and then, like we said, the other guys, Rondo as well. It's going to be interesting to see what they do there in Atlanta. But I like the pick. I think he's better than Capella and Collins, honestly. So I try not to say that as biased, but I really do think he's better, talented-wise, offensive and defensively. He's just a winner.
Let's see how that develops.
He's a winner too, man. Um, he's someone who just tries to win at all costs. You know what I mean? So
I like those kind of players. Yeah.
I that's my favorite pick. I'm really excited to see what he could do there. Let's see my sleeper. I'm going all the way to the second round here. Okay,
Ooh.
Nico Mannion, guard out of Arizona to the Warriors.
Who talked about him the other week?
He is somebody who was looked to go be a lottery pick in the beginning of the college basketball season last year. One of those exciting balls life players from the Arizona area chose to stay home, play at Arizona last season. Their season didn't go exactly as they wanted. His other teammates, Zeke Naji and what's his? I don't remember his first name, but Green, not Jay, Josh Green went in front of him in the draft. He kind of slipped all the way to late first round, second round, and that's where they got him. He was in the 50s, I think, 48 or 50. He almost didn't get drafted, but late in the draft, the Warriors picked him up. He is someone who could, learn from Steph Curry, Clay as well. I like the pick, man. He's exciting. He's someone who's really talented, dribbling the ball, dishing it off, and then he could shoot as well. That dude's a gamer. If you look back at his high school highlights, they're full of clutch moments and like game-winning. He's someone who wins at all costs as well.
I'll check him out.
That's my sleeper. I'm gonna put faith in Nico Mannion to be my sleeper pick. The pick that I don't like at all, I agree with you, is Obi Toppin. The Knicks are forward heavy. Why do you get Obi Toppin for? Like, that's dumb. You should have got, like you said, maybe Tyrese Halliburton or get your boy, man. Get the New York bred Cole Anthony. Like, I know you already have RJ Barrett, but RJ could play off the ball too. Like, you know what I mean? They could play off each other.
They'll work it out.
Spike Lee was at Cole's draft party group. I don't know if you saw that, but Spike Lee was there with him.
I did. That's pretty cool.
So I would have liked Cole Anthony going to the Knicks there, but they got Obi Toppin. I get it. They missed out on Zion last year, so they got this year's, big dunker. But they have 10 forwards on that team? Like, I don't know. Neat. But hey, New York's on my team, so I don't care. You know what I mean? They can do everything.
Definitely agree with that. So great episode of the 70213 podcast. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for listening. Happy early Thanksgiving. Don't forget to check us out at The Franchise LV on Twitter and Instagram. We're out. Have a good one.